Hello and welcome to Web Visions episode 18. We've made it this far. What an experience. What a length. I thought we would never get this far. This is my co-host Vic. Say hello, Vic. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Also, I didn't trust that we would get so far, but Shlomo, you're so marvelous co-host. Thanks a lot for being on
I feel we are the Laurel and Hardy of tech podcasts. I'm not sure which one's the tall one and which one's the fat one, but we're making it. This is going to be good. Today we are joined by Jay, CEO of Visible Magic. So we got the CTO, the CEO, strategy guy, all in the room today. Hello, Jay. How are you?
I'd rather be with the people on this podcast than with the best people in the world.
Whoa, that's saying a lot.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about. We keep bringing it up every week. How all of us at the company are basically running around on the conference circuit right now, and all three of us are like so deep. Me and Jay have gone to 2 in 2 weeks, and we're going to the third one starting in 2.5 days, 3 days, and right. And Vic, you've now you just finished your second or maybe third, right? How many have you done?
I've done 2 of them and disgraced the third, so I bounce.
Good job. Conferences are hard. We're going to talk about things we are seeing from our conferences because all these conferences are a little different. When we're dealing with the tech space, right? You know, you have conferences for marketers, conferences for builders, conferences for newbies, conferences for a very exclusive group of people, right? And all of the things we've gone to have all been different for me. And how do we walk into these rooms and say, what is my meaning? What am I getting out of this? Why am I here? Why would I talk to anybody, right? Is literally the muscle we are flexing at these conferences that make us exhausted, right? And I'm gonna kind of delve into the specific conferences we've gone to in the last 2 weeks and how this is like getting us trained for the next literal 4 more we have in the next 5 weeks, right? It's just insanity. Jay, we just came back from South by, right?
Sorta, right?
Sorta. We were South by adjacent. These were satellite events. We went to Boys Club, which is a Web3 collection of techno optimists in the consumer crypto space, I guess is how I would say it, right? And even better, they're called Boys Club, but they have a high female demographic and a non-binary group. It's very not like this room. This is the typical tech room in this on this call, right? But there was I was seeing people from all sorts of walks, all sorts of needs, all around saying engagement with crypto, and I was almost really inspired. You know what I mean? I may be too jaded to totally get inspired.
Yeah, I was inspired. I'm jaded. Maybe I'm not quite as jaded as you are. Listen, I've been to my share of boondoggle events and I'm pretty skeptical of events typically. This was not a boondoggle. This was a passionate. You're right. It was very optimistic, and so I'm not always optimistic. So but I allowed myself to be optimistic while I was there, thinking about what could be. And I liked how they just positioned that whole thing. Natasha, Deanna, is that they did a great job. It was one day, a couple of an after party, a night before party. You could really get to talk to people small enough that you could connect. I'm a fan of,
Thematically, what were you getting out of it?
Well, let's see. Picked up, watched a lot of the trends they were talking about, right? NFC tags in fashion and luxury for Web3. Bringing that kind of tracking to fashion was something I saw a lot of people talking about, right? They even had the tag on our bag that they gave us. There was the tag in the
this is like the next stage of hypebeast wear, where you didn't have these tags on your Supreme, and so what happened with Supreme clothing, right? You're going to get knockoff versions, and you're not going to have not telling that can tell the difference between a real one and not unless you brought it to someone who actually knows. These tags start making provenance, gives you an app so you can now easily knock that into my Shopify. Shopify is full tilt coins, right? Shopify, one person was saying on Black Friday, Shopify had 10% of the internet market in terms of cashing in, right? And Shopify is also deep into coins. A lot of these groups, like these fashion groups, we give you coins because you're doing a thing. You Twittered it, you took a picture of yourself in it and put it on Instagram. Here's some coins. And now you go straight to Shopify, which is not quote unquote Web3. It's, you know, it's more like 2.5 where you're not knowing this thing is a Web3 marketing situation. You never hear NFT, but you get all those assets and then discounts all over Shopify is pretty cool. I was really bullish on that. I didn't make that total follow through with the actual money, and I thought that was super cool. You know,
and that fashion resale market after, right? There were a couple of other companies there they're talking about like, hey, especially in the resale, this provenance is important. You know, as you can tell who's had it or how long it's really been in the market or whatever. You know, so I thought that was pretty interesting as well.
Yep. Vic, what were you seeing? What the last one you were at was called what?
The last one was the Bitcoin Atlantis. It was on Madeira. And, you know, I've got some mixed feeling about this. It was like a Bitcoin Maxis conference. And it was like, I would tell this like more consumer-based conference for Bitcoin users. Yeah. And while my point of interest was to attend from the developer's perspective, it was totally meaningless because mostly no devs, nothing interesting was there. Only, you know, Michael Saylor's speech from the scenes and so on, like Bitcoin, everyone's gonna need Bitcoin and stuff like this.
Was this the same one that they make in Miami with Bitcoin Magazine?
No, it's something different.
Okay.
They have
because I know they do a bunch, and that's how it was for me at the Miami one, where it was very Bitcoin maxi, and you don't really build products on top of Bitcoin, right? Like so, like I don't really work that way too much. It's hard for me to find a lot of qualified leads for my personal world, right? And I thought it was interesting in Miami, like it's like they dress in clothes with the Bitcoin symbol and dance with each other. It was really kind of
yeah. So essentially, all you know, all components of cult, like in the best form, and it was funny though. But from the development and technological perspective, you know, it's not a good sign for the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin community per se, because nobody is there for technology and for innovation.
Right. They were just
it's a dead desert, I would say.
Interesting. Yeah. That's meaningful. Where we went to just before we came to this Boys Club event, we went to ETHDenver, which was super builder heavy. Like I've heard great things about this conference because it's like 7-10 days long. We were there for like 6 days of it. And the energy and the amount of people actually you're talking to who make the thing was very high. Doesn't mean everyone making a thing is someone that could bring into the dev house, right? Because of, you know, what their project is. But you're gonna find, I'm talking to people like, it was effortless for me at the SheFi Summit, right? Which was filled with women in technology, right? The person giving away the Wallet Connect koozies or whatever was the actual head of biz development for Wallet Connect, right? So I'm talking to the actual person I want to meet because, you know, here at Visible Magic, we've done wallet work and I want her to talk to us, right? Like that's what it's about. Start that relationship, right? And I found ETHDenver really easy to find a person who's actually actionable, because these people were working. You have people going on stage saying, we are hiring right now. Or you have chains that are like still kind of starting out saying, we need this built today, and here's 25,000 in our coin that if you make it here today, done, right? Like there was, like I was telling you before, I want us to bring a little team there next year where that team is just going to sit and do these bounties daily. We're going to have them locked up in that thing. We're going to feed them Red Bulls and potato chips. And we are going to beat and win every bounty there. We are going to make so much money that week, because we're not going to just be one team. We're going to just bring a bunch of little people and just start typing away, right? What?
Sweet.
Yeah, see, there you go.
We'll get the Red Bull IV.
Exactly. I mean, I haven't been in a situation where it's both. They were definitely party in the front, business in the back, or vice versa. I'm not sure how that haircut's going to go, but they were like, here's your free beers, and here's a bunch of real money to develop at hackathons over this whole 8 days or whatever. I thought that was super great.
That's a mullet, right? Right, by the way.
Yes.
The 20-80, 20% in the front, 80 in the, or the 10-90, even if you're more.
There you go.
I'm sorry, I digress. Victor, you were going to say?
Speaking of which, by the way, today I just got the approval of my hacker application to ETH Berlin. So I'll be there in May, and I'll try to hack some stuff out there and make some bounties. You know, so that's a very good plan.
Absolutely. Start looking. All right. The one negative thing I had at ETHDenver is ETH Global had this private event, and their community is like the door guys and such. And me and this one person, we're going to kind of just squiggle our way into there, right? Just because we're on the block, not because they had anything special to do, right? And the way they talked to us was the worst. They have the worst community members, ETH Global. I'm just letting you know, if anyone's hearing this. They're a weird organization. I don't know if you delved into them. And then right when you go, it's like, I go, how would I know if I have a ticket, right? Because there's a million services. People are just like, oh, you would look at your dashboard. I guess they have their own dashboard and something. I was like, you guys, they're not happy people. I'm out of here.
So let's hack that, Victor. Hack our way into the dashboard so we can go to the next global event.
No. We are completely compliant and law-abiding persons.
Victor's like, let's turn the volume down on this right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Dick, I would love to go to a conference with you. Now that I've gone to a couple with Jay, and Jay's had to see how work happens and these things around me. It's like, sometimes you're in the band, and sometimes we're actually in a room with super smart people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would just keep it open.
Be remiss if we didn't mention the Unrestricted Intelligence Summit. We went to that.
Let's talk about Gary Shang, and let's talk about Gary Shang's 2 events that we have been a part of.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's right. Yeah, we sponsored one as it was kind of adjacent to the Morpheus event at ETHDenver, right?
And Edge City.
Edge City Visible Magic sponsored that party, and it was nice. That was like a really unique way to get people together and talk, right? And like the governor of Colorado was there, and so we got to meet him. He's a pretty, I guess, I'm not a Colorado native, but he's
pro crypto. He is pro crypto.
Yeah, tech friendly.
He's pro these things, situations happening. That's why he showed up at this party. He got a picture with the governor.
Yeah, I did. I
didn't get a picture with the governor because the feds don't want to see me do that. But it was good that we got Jay to do it.
The facial recognition would they'd find you, Shlomo. They'd be like,
they would. Yes, triangulate on Denver.
Yeah, but then Gary hosted the other one at it was a South by Southwest mentioned side event, the Unrestricted Intelligence. And there were a lot of people there talking. Matthew from Real.Finance, is someone who has some really interesting ideas about how the movie industry can become part of Web3ified, and then there were many other great conversations going on about art and how AI and Web3 kind of come together. So I did a little bit about one of our products, Visible Magic, obviously, here comes the shameless, talk about what we do, shameless self-promotion for Visible Magic. But yeah, we build wallets and NFT marketplaces and digital asset marketplaces for other people, right? But we also build our own products, and we have a couple. And one of them's pretty new. I don't know if I want to just like put it out on the internet yet completely, but it's something something we spoke about at the event. And so that we talked about with people kind of gauging what they felt about that product, and everybody was really interested in it. So more to come on that.
We're starting to get to know Morpheus AI. I thought there's a lot of money over there. There's a lot of money over there. Morpheus AI is, in its core, decentralized blockchain AI. What does that actually mean? It means that now, this is something that you could easily create APIs on top of their LLMs, on top of situations, and it's not a closed system, right? Right now, it's very hard to build on ChatGPT. You could only kind of talk to it, and you can make when you pay more. This is just a more open situation. One of the things we're talking about is this product, right, that we are playing with, and it'd be nice to have this as one of their first integrations. It definitely makes sense because they, I believe, things like open source and provenance in our words, in our journalism, in our research texts is an important situation, and I think there's a lot of connection between the two in help, right? But yeah, you didn't want to talk about it, so we're going to move on. And
we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll talk about it in another podcast. So
it's okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
Hey, guests, don't tell us two who are the host how it runs. Vic, tell them how it's done.
Yep.
So how are we feeling then in the fatigue, Eric? We have like 3 or 4 minutes left here, and we now know like what it's like to go out and we are finding actual people who are actual builders that have connections with us. How are you doing it? Is there a way that you guys do it? Because Jay started to see how I do it, right? And I don't know if I do it as in the same way as others, right? But let me start out with me. I troll a lot of crypto Twitter. I troll a lot of Farcaster in my webcast, right? I go where builders are, and I really dig into how that is, right? Like whatever, we were sitting down at a lunch or whatever, and I do the work to get us the head of Web3 at Adidas that we're going to go meet Monday or Tuesday, right? While we're at the conference. Right. That's how I figure out a conference day, right? To me, going to the booths is the least meaningful thing for a person like me, where the most meaningful thing is I reach out and I say, I'm coming and you are too. Can I copy you up? You know what I mean? Do you want a bite? Do you want a coffee? Can we just meet? Because all they have to see is my bio to know we're connected. You know what I mean? Like they're doing Web3 at Adidas. Hell yes, I wanted. He saw me at the boys club wearing a full Adidas one-piece jumpsuit. Not what
light blue with white stripes.
Light
with
blue.
Vans flip-flops.
And Vans flip-flops.
It was breathtaking, Shlomo. Let me just say. I tried to get him to buy this corduroy one-piece jumpsuit, but it was going to be kind of hot in Austin.
Yes.
So.
We need to be able to connect, right? Like, and connection is making sure when you go to these things that for me, that I don't look like the person in the polo shirt. I look like the person who's been around. You know what I mean? That's the role I personally find I could do. And everyone just finds their niche, right? Like, that's why, like we were talking about Victor, I want him at every hackathon conference version. And I want to be able to enable him to scope these things and, start coding while I go out and like drum up some business with us, right? Jay, how do you feel when you're going out there? What do you want?
What is my method? I just basically barge into people's lives and kind of like just talk to anybody about anything, right? And so, I like to listen. I'm like a listener and hear what they're talking about, and let's talk about what they're talking about. But what I will say is it's important to be in the right place for that to happen. And I agree, like, talking with the cats at the booth, that's where you get information about their products, but it's not as easy to talk business, right? And so when we do research to go to events and find out where the side events of the side events of the side events are, plus the after party, is where you really can talk shop with people in a meaningful way. And that's where, once you get to there, then it's fine to just barge into people's lives because they are kind of okay with being barged in upon, and they're barging in on you as well. So that's kind of my approach. I don't know if it's good.
It's totally appropriate. And what's great for me personally, why I don't mind doing that version, some of that stuff, like let's say bother them at a party, is because when you're in a crowded party and you don't like what they're talking about or whatever, you can say, that's great, going to the bathroom.
Oh,
and I'm out.
I got a call. I'll be right back.
Where you can't really do that in more, stable ways, like in the booths are like, okay, thanks. I'll take the flyer. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just say, not too interested, I'm out in a normal, happy way,
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Vic, we're running towards the end of this. What do we say? What do we want? We are doing well on LinkedIn. I just want to say one thing real quick. We are doing okay on these on LinkedIn. Thank you, LinkedIn. And we're just starting to get our YouTube a little better, but LinkedIn seems to be working right now. So I just want to say hi to the LI. Vic, what should they do?
Click, like, subscribe.
Boom. This is episode 18 of Web Visions. We're with Visible Magic. We're on the road next week. Me and Jay are in San Francisco for GDC. So if you want to meet us for a cup of coffee, talk shop about Web3, AI, AR, blockchain technologies, just whatever. We're there. I drink coffee all the time. I'm an old San Franciscan. I'll show you where to go. Vic, where are you going next?
Probably to Dubai on the token 24M.
Oh my God. He goes to Dubai. We just go to effing Austin, Texas. God bless the Austinites.
Denver.
Episode 18 in the can. Thank you very much. See y'all next week.
See y'all.